cold and foggy, and the sound of wind whistling through the old windows was audible. He had come to the city for a business conference, but the hotel he was staying at looked more like an old Victorian mansion than a modern hotel. Michael, 32 years old, was a rational and practical man. He didn't believe in ghosts or supernatural entities, but he couldn't ignore the unsettling feeling he had. As he approached the reception, his eyes caught an old sign that read, "Welcome to the Bluemont Hotel, where the past is always present." Behind the counter stood a middle-aged man with a pale face and a fixed stare. In a raspy and quiet voice he said, "Mr. Michael, your room is ready. I hope you have a pleasant stay." Michael took his room key and headed towards the elevator. But as he pressed the button for his floor, the light suddenly went out, and a mysterious laugh echoed through the dark corners of the hotel. He decided to use the stairs, and as he ascended, he heard footsteps behind him. When he turned around, no one was there, but he felt that something or someone was following him. With each step, he felt a growing weight on his shoulders, and Michael hurried towards his floor, but the more stairs he climbed, the more strange sounds he heard. Faint moans emanated from the walls, and occasionally it seemed as if whispers from long ago were swirling in the air. When he reached his floor, he felt cold breaths on the back of his neck. He turned around, but again, there was no one. Upon entering his room, he closed and quickly locked the door behind him. The room, despite its antique furniture and heavy curtains, was dark and gloomy. Michael decided to turn on the lights, but with every switch he pressed, no lights came on. Suddenly, he heard a sound from under the bed. It seemed like something was crawling. He cautiously approached the bed and peered underneath. Red, glowing eyes stared back at him from the darkness. Michael jumped back in fear and looked for something to defend himself with. The sound of nails scratching against the wooden floor grew louder, and a creature with a slender and tall body emerged from under the bed. Its skin was white and colorless, and its mouth was full of sharp teeth. Michael realized that this creature was what had been following him. The creature slowly moved towards him, and Michael understood that there was no escape. He ran to the window and forced it open. A cold wind blew into the room, and for a moment, Michael felt a sense of calm. But when he looked down, he realized that his room was on an upper floor, and there was no way down. The creature, with a laugh-like sound, said, "You cannot escape me, Michael. I have always been here, and I always will be." Michael looked for a way to survive. In those moments of terror, Michael remembered the days of his childhood, the times when his grandmother would tell him old stories about creatures that live in the shadows. He never thought those stories were real until the creature swiftly moved towards the window and closed it with an odd force. Michael felt the air in the room getting heavier, making it harder to breathe. The creature murmured in an incomprehensible language and extended its long, sharp-fingered hands towards Michael. Suddenly, a blue light sparked from the tips of its fingers. Michael looked for a way out, but it seemed as if the room was spinning around him. He ran to the room door, but it wouldn't open. The creature slowly approached him, and Michael noticed that the red glow in the creature's eyes was changing color. Now they were a bright green, and Michael felt as if the gaze was penetrating his soul. At that moment, a sound came from outside the room, the sound of footsteps rushing towards the room. The creature paused for a moment and turned its head towards the door. Michael used this opportunity to run to the bathroom. He closed the door and looked for a hiding place. Suddenly, his eyes fell on an old mirror mounted on the wall. He looked at his reflection in the mirror and noticed that his image was changing. His face had aged and worn, and his eyes had turned the same bright green as the creature's. Michael screamed and jumped back. He looked for a way to break the mirror, but before he could do anything, the bathroom door started to make noise. Someone or something was banging on the door. The banging on the bathroom door grew louder every moment. Michael frantically looked for a way out, but it seemed as if the walls were closing in on him. Suddenly, the bathroom door opened and another creature, similar to the previous one, but larger and more terrifying, entered. Its skin was black and wrinkled, and its eyes glowed like burning coals. Michael crawled into a corner and tried to hide behind the shower curtain, but the creature, with a cunning laugh, pulled the curtain aside. "You cannot escape me," the creature said with a voice more terrifying than ever. "I'm part of this hotel, part of a history you cannot forget." Michael, with no hope left for escape, decided to confront the creature with all his might. He bravely attacked the creature, striking it with all his force. The creature recoiled for a moment, but then attacked Michael with greater fury. At that moment, something miraculous happened. The mirror that Michael had looked into earlier emitted a brilliant light, and the image of Michael's grandmother appeared. She said in a kind voice, "Michael, let go of your fear. The power is within you." With courage he didn't know he had, Michael stood up and faced the creature. He was no longer afraid. With the strength he gained from the love and memories of his grandmother, he struck the creature, causing it to slowly disappear. The hotel gradually returned to normal. Michael, now feeling at peace, walked to the window and looked outside. It was morning, and the sun was rising. He understood that creatures of darkness cannot withstand the light and the power of love. Michael left the room with a smile on his lips and headed towards the lobby. He knew that his grandmother's stories were not just tales to scare him, but lessons for life, and he was now ready to continue his life with newfound strength.